Greetings from the Topical Shelter, a semi-safe haven for a variety of topics, with a generous quantity of horror on the side. In honor of the upcoming All Hallows Eve, I have decided that today's theme will be about ghoulies and ghosties and long-leggedy beasties and things that go bump in the night. Join me if you dare. Let me preface this video by recounting one of my earliest memories when it comes to fear. My family once owned an old Disneyland record called Chilling, Thrilling Sounds of the Haunted House. I had a strange fascination with this album, and I listened to it regularly. It was a strange peculiarity as I both loved and dreaded the terror that the sounds evoked in my mind as a child. Even though I had all of the tracks memorized, the record never failed to scare me over and over. And now, I would like to share with you 4 stories of horror that I experienced in my own life. What you may find most terrifying about these stories is that they are all true. One of the first horror films that I remember watching was Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. I actually watched this film in our basement while the rest of my family was away from home. The absolute scariest moment came when I felt something touch my neck, and I immediately panicked and freaked out. It turned out to be our cat Oscar, who had silently jumped up onto the back of the sofa and touched my neck in an effort to get my attention. I remember walking to my best friend's house often as a child. He only lived a literal block away, but that walk forced me to pass by a very old and scary house that was rumored to harbor a witch. One of the supreme acts of courage was to visit her house on Halloween, which I undertook when I was 12 years old. I remember hesitantly walking up the broken and overgrown sidewalk that led up to her house. I rang the doorbell and prepared to run from whatever horror appeared on the other side of the door. The witch turned out to be an elderly lady from Romania who deposited a turnip into my candy bag. I grew up close to a small shopping center called Abbotsfield Mall. Every year, the mall would bring in a company to set up a small carnival in the parking lot. This carnival consisted of games and a few midway rides. This particular year, my mother decided that we should go attend this carnival as a family. One of the rides that was always there was called the Scrambler. This was an amusement ride in which suspended riders spinning in cars experienced centrifugal force while spinning along 2 separate axes. My sister and I bought our tickets and boarded the ride. After the highly trained carny ensured that the safety doors for all of the cars were latched, he started the ride. Almost immediately, the safety door on our car opened up. My sister and I desperately fought the forces trying to expel us from the car, while simultaneously screaming to the operator to stop the ride. The operator either didn't hear our cries or ignored them. Mercifully for my sister and I, we managed to remain in our car until the ride concluded. This experience was the first time when I felt that I might die. As a teenager, my friends and I thought it would be cool to visit a graveyard at night. We also thought it would be even cooler to bring along some girls to make out with. So one evening, myself, my two buddies, and our female companions drove up to the Evergreen Cemetery in North Edmonton. After ensuring there were no witnesses, we turned off the headlights and drove silently into the graveyard. After parking as far away from the entrance as possible, we settled into some small talk while waiting for our male courage to come to the forefront. Suddenly, we heard footsteps, followed by a scream. We started the car, locked the doors, and drove away as fast as we could. It wasn't until we were a safe distance away that we found out who the mystery person in the cemetery may have been. We had just turned on the radio, hoping that some Rick Astley would help us forget our recent scare, when we discovered that a patient had gone missing from the Alberta Psychiatric Hospital less than a mile away from the cemetery. Alas, the hour draws late, and I grow weary. I think that it is time for us to part ways. I wish to thank you for accompanying me on this journey of terrors that I have experienced throughout my life. I would also greatly appreciate it if you were to like, subscribe, and share this video. Remember that I post a new video every 2 weeks. I hope to see you again at the Topical Shelter, and I wish you all a very happy All Hallows Eve. But as I go, I leave you with quite possibly the scariest thing of all time. Enjoy.